Welcome to Ancestral Wisdom, where the wisdom of the past guides our future. Today, we're going to be talking about Laguz. Now, it's been a little while since I've recorded a video of any kind, let alone a video in the Rune series. And part of the reason for that is because of the birth of my second child. And so I've had quite a bit on my plate. Wonderful, challenging, and wonderful. So as I've heard it said before by others who are far more intelligent and insightful than myself, your life's meaning increases exponentially based on the amount of responsibility that you're able to undertake. And another way of saying that is the more difficult life becomes due to increased responsibility, the more meaning it holds. And I find that that is definitely true. And it's very closely connected with the ruin that we're going to be working with today, which is Laguz. Now, when you see Laguz, there's a few things I want you to think. The first is you can use the L as a way to remember the word lake, right? Laguz, lake. Think water. And many people view this image as an ideographic representation of a wave. So that's one way that you can think of it. There's another word association with Laguz, a leek, vegetable a leek, which um, is a rather virile symbol of vitality in life, and some people view the pictograph here as that symbol of a of upright vegetative growth. I generally think of it more Laguz in terms of water, and the image as a wave of some sort. So how does that connect to the meaning of Laguz, and how can we, after finding the meaning of Laguz, figure out how to integrate that meaning into our life in a meaningful way so that our lives become better? So I have my notes here just to keep me right, so I don't forget any of the important things that I want to say about Laguz. So when we think of water in our traditional pagan religion, the first thing that comes to mind, the most important thing that comes to mind, is the water in the womb of life in our mother's womb. We're immersed before we are manifest in the world. We are immersed in the waters of the womb, right? And in that state, as I've mentioned in past videos, such as the video on who Odin really is, in that state, we are in the process of accumulating the wisdom of the ancestors through our genetic code, being writ into who we are, into the creation of this new person. That is a period of time of pure potential. Manifestation has not yet occurred. You might argue scientifically manifestation is in the process of occurring, but for our purposes, manifestation does not actually happen. It doesn't occur. You don't actually become part of the world until birth. So when you're in the the waters of the womb, when you're floating in this state, it is the pure state of potential prior to manifestation. And that's what Laguz symbolizes. I want you to think of a body of water, think of a deep lake, but think of that lake as something that is deep within your soul. within you, you have at your base this huge, vast, dark body of potential that can be symbolized by a large body of water. And not only do you actually embody that when you come into this world and when you're in the womb, but you can also think of every single aspect of your life, everything in you that you bring forth into the world, that you manifest, as coming forth from this deep well, this vast well of potentiality that resides in a part of you that's so deep you can't even fathom its depths. Another way of putting that is you have absolutely no idea how deep your potential is, and it's far deeper than you can possibly imagine. Laguz helps us to understand that and helps us to tap in to that vast body of potential that resides within us. You can use it in your magical workings to do that, to activate your potential, to activate your will in such a way that it allows you to fulfill the latent potential that possibly heretofore has been unfulfilled in your life. I once heard this ruin described as the waters of Niflheim before those waters solidify into ice, which then, through the heat and the fires of Muspelheim, are ignited into vital life energy. So even before the solidification of the ice which is ignited, it is the precursor to everything. It's the vast void, the vast expanse of possibility. Think baptism, which the act of anointing with water to call upon the name of the new child who has demonstrated its ability to be part of this world. Of course, baptism predates Christianity. It's an ancient tradition to use water to symbolize the creation of the identity of this new child. And that's, of course, tied to the symbolism of the water and the potentiality. Not only does Laguz help us to understand the precursor of manifestation, but it also exists on the other side, exiting out of manifestation when we die. And there are in the mythology and in the traditions there are many examples of this. You could think of the rivers of Hades, Leth, which is the river of forgetfulness, where you drink from the river and you forget. Well, when you leave this life and you you release that manifested self, and you drift back into the waters where you forget this life. Your ego dissolves, and there is no more you exactly to cling on to the life that it had. You are drawn back into the waters of Lagos, and that can be symbolized in the Greek mythology by the rivers of hell. Um, in terms of the forgetfulness of this life, particularly death, but also the river Styx as well, and the other rivers of hell. It's been a tradition in the north to bury someone. Viking ship burials, for example, relates to this. And one powerful image that comes to mind right away, if anyone's familiar with pop culture, the movie First Knight with Sean Connery at the very end as King Arthur, who dies at the end. Spoiler alert. Um, a beautiful funeral ceremony is held in which he is sent off in a small ship and someone shoots an arrow and sets the ship on fire, and so he sails off back into the waters of Laguz, back into potentiality, and the flesh, the body, burns off, the manifested self burns off, and the spirit, the eternal part of oneself, is given back to the waters of potentiality. This, of course, can be connected to our reincarnation myths that I've gone into in several other videos. How to use Laguz in your magical workings. Well, in addition to what I mentioned before, which was to use Laguz to ignite the will, to fulfill the potential that is latent within you, in general, you can also use it for specific initiatory rites. If you're going to initiate yourself into, for example, a particular magical or mystical tradition, then what you're doing, in essence, is you're taking this one aspect of yourself that that particular tradition will make come alive, will manifest for you. And you're using your will in order to make a commitment to that path. And that path will eventually lead to the manifestation of whatever it is you want to become through that path. So it's a rune to call upon when setting forth on a path of initiation. Because of the the resulting manifestation of this realm of potentiality, it has also been known as a rune of life and vitality and energy. And that particularly is associated with the connection to the symbolism of the leek itself. So that's Lagos, the deep well within you, which no matter how far you plumb its depths, you still will not have tapped the root, fullness of the potential that lies within. It's almost limitless. It's almost infinite. And maybe that which you have access to in this life has a certain amount of finitude, which of course is deeper than you could possibly imagine anyway. But the potential that exists that you are able to tap into throughout the course of all of your lives, all of the lives of the great ancestors and your future and the future progeny of your clan Well, that is damn near close to infinite. And if you root yourself in eternity instead of just this life, then you have the ability to touch that infinite space. Laguz, Laguz, Iustereza, Ansus Raido Kena, Ebo Wanjo Hagala, Audisi Sayera, Iuas Pethro Elga, Sohilo Percano e womana Laguz in paz dega o thala